Hey everyone, this is Crystal Lee, aka the Clinician Coach, and today we're doing a mini training on how to improve your website's SEO. This is actually a summary of my blog post. I did a blog series on this, so if you want further details, I recommend that you actually go back and read the actual blog post because there's lots of good information in there. So before we dive in, I just want to make a little note about who I am and what the Clinician Coach is. So I'm a business coach that helps people build businesses that are passion driven, but that actually fit their life instead of the other way around, because I find a lot of times we've been socialized by grad school, our profession, to sacrifice a lot and to really make our business the priority and fit our life around our business. And I think that's just kind of BS. So that's kind of my philosophy. And so I'm hoping that, by giving you these free tips and advice and support, that you're able to really build a business that really fits into your lifestyle. The blog series is actually a 6-part series that covers each of these different aspects in detail, and we'll be reviewing these aspects today as well. So first, we're going to talk about keywords, then meta descriptions, internal and external links, backlinks, blogs, and finally, website structure. So first we're going to talk about keywords, and this is basically whatever the person is typing into the search engine to find what information they're looking for. So for example, someone might type in anxiety therapist, or they might type in how to solve this sleeping problem that I'm having. And when you're trying to come up with your keywords, there are 4 different things you can do to come up with those keywords. 1, you can envision your ideal client and imagine what your ideal client would be typing into Google. 2, you can actually just Google it, type in a keyword that you think someone might be typing in there, and then if you scroll to the bottom, Google is actually very kind and gives you some suggestions of other phrases that people are Googling. Third, you can set up your Google console, and that actually lets you know what keywords you're already ranking for. So if there's certain keywords that you're not ranking so well for and you want to improve upon, then you can really target those specific keywords. And then lastly, you can also look at Ubersuggest, which is actually a paid service, but you can kind of spy on your competitors and see what keywords they're ranking on, and then you can also target those same keywords to try and compete with them and get on the first page of Google or Bing or whatever search engine they're using. You also want to take a look at the meta description and make sure that that is actually optimized. So you see on this picture that the thing in the box, the blue box, is the meta description. So when you're Googling things or Binging things, you'll see that a listing will look like this, where there's a heading, there's the actual URL, and then there's the meta description. So you can actually edit the meta description to say whatever you want it to say. There's a certain number of characters that you get, and you can actually edit it to be appealing and draw in your potential audience. And you'll see here that there's a bolded word, Australian Shepherd, which is, I'm assuming, the keyword that they're aiming for. So when you're doing your meta description, you want to definitely include your keyword. You want to use up as much of those, as many of those characters as you can, so you have a nice long meta description. And also it helps to have a call to action, so sometimes telling them to click here or click to learn more or something like that. And I go into a lot more detail in the blog post, but this will give you a general idea of what to do with your meta description. Then it's probably good to start focusing on your links. So there are many different kinds of links. This slide and one blog post focuses on internal and external links. So internal links are links that link within your website. So say going from a blog post, linking to another blog post that is relevant. External links is linking from your website to a website outside of yours. So for example, if you're an OCD specialist, you might have a blog post that references whatever OCD association and links back to that. So that would be an external link. And internal links and external links really help demonstrate to search engines that you have a quality website. The one type of link that really helps website SEO are what they call backlinks, and that is an inbound link from an external website into your website. So if you were to get a backlink from, going along with this OCD specialist example, like from the OCD Foundation, whatever, backlinked to your website, that is a really nice and juicy link that you want. So part of your strategy should be trying to get as many backlinks into your website as possible. So ways you can do that is getting media mentions, online directories, getting on resource lists, or guest blogging, where the guest blog host will allow you to link back to your website. One of the really helpful strategies to improve website SEO is by blogging. So when you're blogging, you really want to aim for at least 500 to 700 words. If your blog post is shorter than that, it's really not signaling to search engines that that's a quality page. Some of my blog posts are even 1,000 to 1,200 words. So really aiming for 500 to 700 is kind of the minimum. Then you want to make sure that you have keywords in your blog post. So those keywords that you are trying to optimize your website for, those you definitely want in your blog posts. And then of course, including those internal and external links. And then the last thing you want to consider doing is doing alt text for your images. So if you have an image on your blog, or your website, there's actually an option where you can put in a little bit of text for that picture. It's supposed to describe the image basically. But if you have an image that is related to a keyword, something like that, you can actually put a keyword in the alt text. But really you want the alt text to describe the actual image, because this is what people who are hard of seeing or blind use to envision or understand what the images are on your website. But it's important to have alt text. That's something that search engines pay attention to. And lastly, this is a biggie, how you actually structure your website will play into how well your website ranks and how good your SEO is. So you absolutely want separate pages for each of your specialties. You don't want one page that lists everything. It makes it impossible to rank that page for, those specific keywords. All of those keywords and specialties will be competing against one another if they're on the same page. So put each specialty in its own separate page. Then you want to have blogs that link back to your specialty page. So at the end of every single blog post that you write, you want it to link back to whatever specialty page it's related to. So if you're an anxiety specialist and you write blog posts about anxiety, at the bottom of that, each and every of those blog posts, I want you to link it back to your anxiety specialty page. Likewise, on your specialty page, you should put blogs that are within that same category. So for example, you are an insomnia specialist. At the bottom of that specialty page, you should have several blog posts and links to those blog posts all about insomnia treatment, how to sleep better, sleep hygiene, all that fun stuff. That's really important, and that actually helps signal to the search engines that you have really great quality information all about those certain specialties. And it's almost like feeding your website by having all these internal links going back and forth with one another. So those are the 6 different aspects that you want to consider to help improve your website SEO. As I mentioned, I did a blog series on this that goes into much more detail. We'll get into the specifics of that. So if you're wanting to learn more, I would definitely recommend hopping back onto the website www.thecliniciancoach.com and then going to resources, which is where all those blog series will be. And you can learn a lot more about improving your website's SEO. So for those of you who aren't watching this on Facebook, I just wanted to give a little shout out to our Facebook group, Build a Thriving Practice. This is where I provide free resources and support, and there's also just a really cool community of other psychologists and therapists who are going through the same thing that you are. And it's a great place to get some, emotional support, but also bounce some ideas off of them. It's a really cool group. I hope you consider joining us. But thank you again for watching the video and hope to see you soon.